Now, this isn't to say that you need to give every point of view character the exact same number of pages, but you should aim for some kind of balance or intention behind your choice, especially if you've set certain expectations for your readers. So, for example, romance readers typically expect roughly equal time with both of the love interests when there is a dual point of view novel. In something like an epic fantasy, you have more flexibility, but you still need to ensure that each character's storyline is properly developed. Welcome to the Fiction Writing Made Easy podcast. My name is Savannah Gilbo, and I'm here to help you write a story that works. I want to prove to you that writing a novel doesn't have to be overwhelming. So each week, I'll bring you a brand new episode with simple, actionable, and step-by-step strategies that you can implement in your writing right away. So whether you're brand new to writing or more of a seasoned author looking to improve your craft, this podcast is for you. So pick up a pen and let's get started. In today's episode, we're diving into one of the most challenging and rewarding storytelling techniques, writing a story with multiple point of view characters. If you've ever wondered how to juggle multiple character perspectives without leaving your readers confused, or if you're revising a manuscript and struggling to weave those perspectives together seamlessly, then this episode is for you. Now, we all know that writing a multi-POV novel is no small feat, but when done well, they create rich, immersive stories that readers can't put down. When done poorly, well, let's just say it's a fast track to frustrated readers and a lot of one-star reviews. But the good news is that writing a layered, cohesive, and page-turning multiple point of view novel isn't something magical talent reserved for a select few. It's a learnable skill, and today I'm sharing 5 essential tips to help you master it. So grab your notebook because we are about to make multi-POV writing feel a whole lot easier. Let's dive right in. Before we get into the tips, let me quickly define what I mean by a story with multiple point of views. Writing a novel with multi-points of view, or multi-POVs, means telling your story through the eyes of 2 or more characters alternating between their perspectives. These viewpoints can be written in first person, third person limited, or even a mix of both. But here's the key. Unlike third person omniscient narration, where the narrator can jump into anyone's head at any time, multi-POV storytelling restricts each scene or chapter to a single character's perspective. Think about it like this. Each point of view is a distinct window into your story world, and when done well, this approach can add incredible depth, build suspense, and help readers connect with multiple characters on a deep level. But that being said, it also comes with unique challenges. So let's talk about how to navigate those challenges and make your multi-point of view novel shine. Okay, so tip number 1, and honestly, this might be the most important thing I tell you today, is to only use the point of views that you truly need. And I know when you're excited about multiple perspectives, it's tempting to include everyone who has something interesting to say. But here's the thing. Every additional point of view that you add doesn't just increase complexity for you as the writer, it divides your readers' attention and their emotional investment as well. Think about it this way. Your readers only have so much mental energy to devote to your story. Every time you ask them to switch to a new character's perspective, you're asking them to shift gears emotionally and mentally. So before you commit to any point of view character, I want you to ask yourself these questions. Number 1, what unique information does this character provide that nobody else can? Number 2, how does their perspective advance the main plot in ways that no other character could? And number 3, would my story be significantly weaker if I removed this character's point of view? If you can't answer those questions clearly, then it might be time to cut that point of view or show that person's role from another character's perspective. A great example of this is 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Yes, she uses 6 different point of views, but each character brings something essential to the story. And the plot literally wouldn't work without showing how these different characters approach the same impossible task from their unique angles. All right, so here's what I recommend for you if you're writing a story with multiple point of view characters. Make a list of all your potential point of view characters, and then for each one, write a single sentence explaining why their perspective is essential for your story. If you struggle to write that sentence, then that is your answer. All right, so that is tip number 1, only use the point of views that you truly need. Tip number 2 is to give each character a distinctive voice. So once you've figured out which point of view characters are truly necessary, it's time to develop each one fully. And I mean fully. Each point of view character should feel like the protagonist of their own story, complete with their own arc and their own distinctive voice. And here's what I mean by distinctive voice. Your reader should be able to tell whose perspective they're reading from the writing alone. without needing chapter headings or name tags. Of course, you can include those things as well, but ideally, readers should be able to tell whose perspective they're in just from reading the text alone. So to come up with a distinctive voice for each character, I want you to think about how each one of your point of view characters uses different sentence structures. So for example, do they talk in a short and clipped way, or is their way of speaking more flowing and descriptive? I also want you to think about how each point of view character notices different details in their environment. So for example, a soldier might spot exits in every room, while an artist might focus on the light and color of any given environment. You can also think about each character's unique vocabulary, the metaphors they use, and the speech patterns they have, as well as how they each react emotionally in ways that reflect their personality. All right, so that's where I would start in terms of developing distinctive voices for each of your characters. But voice is just one piece of the puzzle. Each point of view character also needs their own complete character arc. So they should start the story with specific goals and flaws, face challenges that test them, grow throughout the story, and reach some kind of resolution by the end. And so if you're writing a story with multiple point of view characters, here's what I want you to do. I want you to create a character worksheet for each point of view character that includes their unique voice characteristics, their worldview, their goals, and a description of their arc. And then as an extra challenge, I want you to write a page from each character describing the same moment. Their voices should be so distinct that someone else could read those pages and immediately know which character is which. All right, so that is tip number 2. You want to give each character a distinctive voice. All right, moving on to tip number 3, and that is to stick to one point of view character per scene. And this is where even experienced writers trip up sometimes. Head hopping or jumping between different characters' thoughts within a single scene is one of the fastest ways to confuse and frustrate your readers. So here's an example of what not to do. Sarah watched John enter the room, her heart racing at the sight of him. He noticed her staring and wondered why she seemed so nervous. She wished she could read his mind. Now, assuming you're not writing a story with an omniscient narrator, because remember we talked about that in the beginning, writing a story from multiple perspectives is different than writing a story with an omniscient narrator. Can you see how something like that would be jarring? We jumped from Sarah's thoughts to John's thoughts and then back again to Sarah's thoughts in just 3 sentences. Luckily, the solution for this is simple but strict. You just want to stick to one point of view per scene, and then only switch perspectives at logical breakpoints, like scene breaks, new chapters, or after significant time jumps. Now, if you're writing a story with multiple point of view characters, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go through your manuscript and mark every single point of view shift. Make sure each one happens at a logical breakpoint and that you're choosing the most compelling perspective for each scene. All right, and that is tip number 3, stick to one point of view per scene. Tip number 4 is don't repeat information unless it reveals something new. And this is one of the biggest momentum killers in multi-point of view novels, redundancy, or showing the same event from multiple perspectives without adding anything meaningful. So here's the rule I want you to live by. Only show the same scene from multiple perspectives if it A, reveals crucial information that the first character didn't know, B, shows completely different interpretations of the same interaction, C, exposes lies and/or misconceptions, or D, adds emotional depth that changes the meaning of the scene. If it doesn't do one of those 4 things, then skip it and just move the story forward instead. All right, now if you are writing a story with multiple point of view characters, here's what I want you to do. I want you to review any scenes that you've shown from multiple perspectives. For each one, identify what new and important information the additional viewpoints add. If they don't significantly change the reader's understanding, then consider restructuring them or cutting them. All right, so that is tip number 4, don't repeat information unless it reveals something new. Tip number 5 is to balance page time among your point of view characters. Now, this isn't to say that you need to give every point of view character the exact same number of pages, but you should aim for some kind of balance or intention behind your choice, especially if you've set certain expectations for your readers. So for example, romance readers typically expect roughly equal time with both of the love interests in a dual point of view novel. In something like an epic fantasy, you have more flexibility, but you still need to ensure that each character's storyline is properly developed. So if you are writing a story with multiple point of view characters, here's what I want you to do. I want you to track each point of view character's appearances throughout your manuscript. Note the word counts and look for significant imbalances between the different perspectives. Then map each character's arc against your overall story structure to ensure that everyone receives proper development. All right, so that is tip number 5, balance page time among your point of view characters. Now, here's what I want you to take away from this episode. Writing multiple point of view novels is challenging, but it's also one of the most rewarding approaches to storytelling when you get it right. Remember that this is an advanced technique that takes practice. Your first attempt might not be perfect, and that's okay. Each draft will bring you closer to mastering this powerful approach. So keep these 5 tips in mind as you work. Number 1, use only the point of views you truly need. Number 2, give each character a distinctive voice and a complete arc. Number 3, stick to one point of view per scene. Number 4, don't repeat information unless it reveals something new. And finally, number 5, balance page time among your point of view characters. And most importantly, trust your creative instincts. If your story is calling for multiple perspectives, then honor that impulse. With patience, practice, and these techniques, you can absolutely write a compelling multi-point of view novel. All right, so that's it for this episode of the Fiction Writing Made Easy podcast. Head over to savannahgilbo.com/podcast for the complete show notes, including the resources I mentioned today, as well as bonus materials to help you implement what you've learned. And if you're ready to get more personalized guidance for your specific writing stage, whether you're just starting out, stuck somewhere in the middle of a draft, drowning in revisions, or getting ready to publish, take my free 30-second quiz at savannahgilbo.com/quiz. You'll get a customized podcast playlist that'll meet you right where you're at and help you get to your next big milestone. Last but not least, make sure to follow this podcast in your podcast player of choice, because I'll be back next week with another episode full of actionable tips, tools, and strategies to help you become a better writer. Until then, happy writing.